Hold
That's
on,
what
let me
makes it.
think about it. My milkshake brings another one to the yard.
Yeah,
That's
that's
our
how you
title
do.
for
That's how you
today.
did. That's how
Okay.
you did.
So we are bringing to the table what we think is important in a relationship. We're also bringing our views in what we think men and women need and what they want. Feel free to join in with the conversation by typing into the comments below. So we're just going to start. I'm going to sort of put this out there. In your opinion, let me think. Jude, in your opinion, what do you think is important in a relationship? On the spot?
Yeah, that's just putting me on the spot. Uh, see, I'm still laughing. Maybe laughter is important in relationship.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
fair
that's
enough.
a good one. To be
Yeah.
able to laugh, to be able to sort of have
Yes,
that.
that
If
will
you can't
laughter.
laugh with somebody, then where's that? You
Yeah,
can't
that's
smile or
actually very
be able to enjoy
important.
yourself.
That's key. You have to laugh. You have to be able to laugh at yourself, laugh at your own jokes if no one is laughing at it. Huh? That's very important.
Okay, let me put it on to Tyler. Tyler, what's your opinion? What is important in a relationship?
So, hello everyone. Hope you're well. Firstly, I believe there's many things that are important when it comes to relationships, obviously, but some of the key things for me are communication. Honesty and communication are some of the main two things for me and my partner, my wife. Constant.
My wife. I like how you say my wife.
Men and women communicate differently. We communicate differently, men and women. So I think it's about understanding each other. And that understanding doesn't come overnight. This is like years and years and years of practicing, of learning, you know. So yeah, communication. And sometimes we're going to talk about this throughout the night anyway, but you know, men learning to communicate more to women, because sometimes we hold things in and we, you know,
Hang on. I think I just remember what's more important in the relationship. The
What's that?
milkshake. The milkshake. Bring the milkshake. Yeah, it's very important in a relationship. Bring the milkshake. It just clicks. Yeah, milkshake. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I think he's got brilliant idea, or he's got brilliant thought there in regards to communication. I think I've asked quite a few people, and the first thing they said is communication. You need to be able to talk to each other in order to sort of know where we stand, know where we're going, know what we're building on. G, what should a relationship be built on? What do you think it should be built on? Or give us all the things you think should be used.
Okay, so I think the most important thing is trust in a relationship. And I think for me, I probably see relationship in maybe two different ways. There's what I call the pre-relationship, where you actually get all the boys into the yard. And then there's a relationship where you actually pick the boy whose milkshake you want to interact with. So that kind of helps you to sift out the wheat from the chaff, or whatever the old people saying is, you know, you do know about that. Trust is very important. Trust, as in, you know how, let's say you're with somebody and you've been with them, you're in a relationship, and then you hear, or somebody says, oh, so and so, your guy did this somewhere. You need to have the trust in relation where you're like, nah, that's not my, I don't know who you saw, but that was not my man, sort of thing, or that was not my woman. That to me is trust. Like, you have to have utmost trust in the relationship. And also, and I remember a young lady asked me once, she said to me, oh, you and your husband look so happy together, this, that, the other. What's the secret? I said, there's no secret. And she goes, oh, how do you know he's the one? I think she was seeing someone and she was maybe having that. And I said, you know, it's the one when the person gives you peace of mind. So there's trust, but then there's also peace of mind. And for me, those are the key things. You don't want someone that you're worrying, oh, where are they, who are they talking to, where they go, and try and track them and all that, you know, African American type of stuff that you see on the Ratchet TV shows, which is what I've been binging on for the last 2 weeks. So excuse me if I drop some B-bombs up in here. But yeah, I've been watching lots of fights and stuff about men. But those are the two cornerstones for me. And then on top of that, you do have someone that has to make you laugh. You have to have someone that you can gist with. In my marriage, we can pause the TV and we can gist for an hour about the most random stuff. We can talk about politics. We can disagree, because I got a few of my friends to send me like their ideas, so their notes on, you know, what they needs and what. Yeah. And a couple of them did mention disagreements. You have to have someone you can disagree with. You can have a debate with about this and this, but you come away, you're still friends. There's no beef, there's no nothing. But I would say trust. And what's the other thing I said? I forgot already. What was the other one? Trust is the other
Milkshake.
pillar of it. Eh?
Milkshake.
No, that one is in the preamble. Remember, I said to you, there's a pre-relationship and then there's relationship.
I think respect is key. You have to sort of respect each other and be able to support each other. But you keep mentioning pre-relationship. Now I'm going to open up the box. I'm actually going to open up the box.
Wait. Sorry. No, sorry. You know, you said respect here. I agree with you, but just one point on that, yeah. Respect is very true. It's a massive thing. You have to have respect for your partner. But I'm going to be very honest with you, right? Sometimes when you're really close to someone, when you love them, you end up disrespecting them in terms of like, if you have a fight, you're angry, you shout at them, you call them names. It shouldn't happen and it's not right. But sometimes that happens in relationships. So it's weird sometimes that respect is meant to be, that's the person you love. You're meant to respect them the most.
Well, from the respect you have from that person, you will then figure out what you've done wrong in order to make amends.
Absolutely.
So, but we do that with everything. With everything we respect, we tend to break the rules that go around it and then work our way back up. And it's due to the respect why we do that.
Yeah.
But yes,
I do think the disrespect thing that Tyler mentioned, the closer you are to somebody and the more time you spend with them, the more likely you are to disrespect them. It just comes as a given, as in, forget man-woman relationship. Look at parents and children. At some point, your child, when they get to a certain age, mine is only 3 and he does try to disrespect me sometimes, but I have to remind him that I'm still taller than him for now. So, it's easy to maintain that respect. But at some point you hear parents say, oh, my son or my daughter disrespected me, now they have to be kicked out of the house, blah, blah, blah. So I think when you have, I'm trying to remember the phrase. There's a saying all people say, and Jude, let me know. But that thing of something breeds contempt and disrespect and whatever. There's some sort of saying that the old Nigerians normally say, which I can't think of right now. But yeah,
because what I'll say, although we said respect as well as disrespect, but that's where the tolerance comes in. So we learn to tolerate each other with the habits, the things. Because once you get close to somebody, you start seeing the bad habits and the things that in an initial part of the relationship was all glossed over, and then you start seeing it and building to sort of love them and tolerate them at the same time. So when they do,
really, I disagree.
Okay, G.
Maybe because I can only speak from my experience. So at the beginning of a relationship, I am not very nice. I'm very high maintenance. Like high maintenance of the high maintenance of the high maintenance.
Why are women like that?
Because I want to see how they would deal with the high maintenance, which I am not. Because if I decide to be high maintenance later on, they'll be fine.
So you're saying you use deception at the beginning.
It's not deception. I can be high maintenance. I'm just not high maintenance all the time. No. So I'm like that all the time to suss them out. Because first of all, to get with me, I'm not that easy to get with. And I have this thing in my brain of like, women choose their partners. So if you're going to come to me, you have to come correct. So there's certain things I won't tolerate. And I'm not going to wait till the point where we're okay for me to not say to you, okay, babes, I will tolerate this. I will tolerate this. I'll let you know from the beginning that I would. This is what I would take. This is what I won't take.
If we're talking about the beginning of things, when you first see a man or a woman, you first of all get attracted to them by their looks, and you don't just see the other aspect of things. You get attracted by the looks.
I've never done looks.
Because what you're just saying now, you can't get that from the day one. It's only when you start courting, that's when you get all of that. That's when you need to start opening it up. Don't forget the man is grown under different family values, and you've grown under different values, and you're both adults, and you like each other. You're coming together, man. You've got your own set of values. I've got my own set of values. Not all of these come out all together. Whether you use the term gloss over or not, we tend to tell ourselves a lot of stories. So the stories we paint, because I'm going out hunting, I want to hunt for you. I'm definitely going to be hiding. Yeah, it's fact. We're hunting. You must. That's the basic animal thing. We're hunting. I see a beautiful
thing. When you go out hunting, the first thing you're looking for is this woman attractive?
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. Look at it. Look at it this way. Just take it as this way: basic animals or basic instances for food, shelter, and sex. When I see a woman, the first thing
What are
as a
you calling
man,
animal?
well, human. Okay, let's say we're human animals now. Sorry for that. Now, I see a woman or I see a man that I like. If I was into men, I first of all go for the looks. Wow, that's a physique. That's a face that I like. Then I start concocting stories that I will tell that person. Tell them stories. You don't just tell your whole life
Stories?
because
You
humans
mean you
like
make
stories.
them up?
Yeah, no, no, you don't make them up. What I'm trying to say
Oh,
is
okay.
you have to string your words together. They become stories. I can't just tell you my generation from day one. No, I'll tell you stories. I'm Mark. I'm a banker. I start telling you all the interesting things I do. You start selling yourself. It's only when we start courting, you start seeing the quirkiness, the goofiness, and all of other things. And
Yeah.
they don't come out all at the same time. When you finally accept each other to get married or whatever, or civil partnership, then these other attributes come out. Why? By the
Yeah.
time they come out, it might be far too late. Don't forget your different values. You born from different values. So that's the thing I'm trying to say. At the first instance, it's the face for it. Why would I start chasing a woman if at the end of the day, it's not about me getting her back on the bed? That's the fact. I don't just start chasing a woman because I see you today, I want to marry you. The first animal instinct is that. It's fact.
It's to get you into bed. Is that what you just said? Did you, sorry, D, did you say your first instinct as an animal is to get the woman into bed?
If I'm into men, I want to get the man's back on the bed as well. Simple.
So that's it. And then
That's the
and
first
then if a
thing.
relationship happens, it happens.
I'm not in the relationship to be a friend to you as a banker. I don't want a banker as a friend. I see a pretty woman. Whoa, bed. Simple. I don't start taking money.
I disagree.
That's it.
I disagree.
Tyler,
Okay.
please disagree. Hurry up.
I hear what you're saying. But I think okay, cool. Let's be real, yeah. Back in the day when I had them kind of thoughts, if I see
that kind of thoughts.
That's not the person I'm marrying. That's not for me. If I'm seeing that's my first thought, that's not the person I'm marrying. Real talk. Because when I think back to when I first saw my wife, it wasn't them thoughts. It was like, raw. I want to get to know.
So we're all talking about relationships that's built in.
No. I want to go back to Tyler. Tyler said when I first said the woman I'm married to.
Jude, hold on one second. So we're all talking about the relationship that's built us to when we're married. But what about the relationships that we had pre-marriage? So if we think about exactly what Jude was saying, Jude said, well, if I'm going out, I'm finding a woman for me to put her into bed. Tyler sort of said, this is before, if I was going down that path, that person's not who I'm looking to marry. So my question to all of you is, we're talking about intimacy. So if you were courting somebody, dating somebody, or even just met them for the first time, how long should you wait before you're intimate? So we wait until we're married, or how long should we wait?
Who's that question to?
Christian, you should wait till you're married, but
Okay.
It's open for the floor. All of you are smiling. Nobody wants to. Jude?
No, I'll talk. I thought Tyler was talking. I'm happy to talk. I thought Tyler was saying something.
Listen, I'm a Christian, right? So in Christianity, you're meant to wait till your marriage. Did me and my partner wait till marriage? I'm gonna be very honest with you. No, we didn't. But later on in our relationship, did we abstain from sex? Yes, we did for nearly 2 years before we got married. So bring it. I got it. Like, I've been there. I've done it. I've been celibate, all this kind of stuff. So like,
I was too, for 2 weeks before we got married.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, I was mandated to do 2 weeks.
My husband wasn't here. He doesn't live here. He lives in South Africa. So I was celibate for most of the relationship.
No, I think I was mandated to do 2 weeks. So I did 2 weeks. I did 2 weeks. Yeah, I was mandated by the church.
You're all talking about the person that you've married, but you've all had relationships before the person.
You want us to start digging the dirt from?
I'll start.
They're not dead.
Wow. Come on.
It's not that far. It's not far. The thing is, I'm one of those women that I believe in sexual freedom. If you go on a date with somebody, first date, you like the guy, he likes you, there's chemistry, you're not sure yet if it's a div or not, but you fancy him and you want to get down, get down. I'm all about
That's exactly what I said. You just only painted the fancy words.
Do it.
That's what I said.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Because no. This is what Dee said pre-relationship. So that, and I said when you're dating, you go on a date. I didn't say you see them in the club. You go on a date, you like them, and you want to do it, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the whole going to a club and taking a one night stand, I don't know anything about that, because as far as I'm concerned, the kind of people that go to clubs and the kind of people that want to have one night stands are different kind of species. And I don't know if I want to be, I don't subscribe to that.
It's the type of people that go to people that are taking you on dates.
No, because the thing is, when you go, no, when you go on a date, you've had the date, you've had a conversation with this person, you've had a bit more time to think in a hopefully a logical sense that, okay, this person is okay, he doesn't look like a killer or whatever. But when you're in the club, the music, the lights, everything can make the deadest rat look.
How does a killer look like? How does a killer look like, please? How does a killer look like? How does a killer look like?
The reason why I'm asking the question here, the reason I'm saying is because I don't think that advice to give out.
Killer.
If I'm now talking to my daughter, for example, who's obviously a baby, but when she's like grown up, and if I now repeat them words to her, if you go on a date with a man and you think that this man is decent, you can have sex with him that night. What? No.
No. I did preface this by saying, if you feel like you want to, and you're comfortable, this is the decision for the woman, not your dad telling you or whatever. This is your decision as a woman. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to. If you even have, because I believe in gut instinct, if your gut is saying to you, maybe not, don't do it. Don't want anyone to feel pressure into. If you decide the guy's relationship material and he says he thinks you're loose because you had sex on the first day, that's his problem. You shouldn't let that affect you. But again, some people just know after a first date, some know after 3 months, some have a rule, 4-date rule, whatever rule works for you, it's fine. But I think the decision has to be the woman's decision if she wants to do it.
Yeah, obviously, because if it has to be the woman's decision, because if not, then the man will start getting accused of something. But I mean, why should sex come into the discussion on the first date or whatever, you know? And I'm not judging.
But it does.
I'm not judging that, by the way, because I told you I've had my dirt from back in the day. Do you know what I mean? One night stands and whatever, you know. But I'm just saying, like, why should that really and truly? Why should sex be on, like, okay?
Because D asked the question.
It shouldn't be like.
It's not because D asked the question. It's because that's our basic biological construct. That's how we are. I don't see if
you said earlier. It's going back to what Jude said when he said the first thing, if he's going out and he sees a woman, the first thing he's thinking of, am I attracted to her in order for me to get her into bed?
And having said that, I've never had one night stands. Maybe I'm not that lucky. Maybe they see me as a killer that G was trying to describe. But having said that, though, I'm just talking about human.
That's what it is. I'm trying to bring my eyebrows back down.
No one goes out to say, I'm going club today. I'm going to meet the woman of my 6 children later. Everybody's going out hunting. The woman is coming out hunting, looking all massive.
Differently, women go out sometimes and say, tonight I'm going to find my husband.
He's still hunting. They're hunting. Hunting for husband. Hunting for husband. Hunting for one night stands. Hunting for a couple of months. It's all hunting. We are all in the hunting business. We can't lie whether it was way back or it's hunting. It is what it is. We just tell ourselves stories to make it look.
Like that word. I take serious offense to that word, hunting. What?
All right, I won't use hunting. I'll look for a posh words. I'll look for a posh word. I'm thinking.
Say wooing.
Something wooing.
Woo.
Wooing.
One thing that we've all mentioned that's similar between all 4 of us is that we all sort of had that moment of time that we said we'll be celibate till we got married. So although we've dated and we said, okay, we're going to give this time until we've.
Nah, that wasn't my personal choice. It was the pastor who said you must do it. I wouldn't have done it. It wasn't going to marry. It wasn't going to marry us. He forced us to do it. So I was bullied.
You were actually.
I told him. I tell truth all the time, and I told him we were having sex already, and he said for me to do it, you have to stay away for 2 weeks. We tried.
You tried.
Let me break it down.
Yeah, we tried.
Let me break it down.
Tyler is the man, man. I don't know how you did it.
Let me break it down for you, yeah. Real talk. Obviously, it was church and being a Christian and God that made us stop. It wasn't an easy thing to do. Bearing in mind we were together at the time, stop having sex. It wasn't easy, but we did. And you know what? I'm so glad that we did it, because it taught me a lot. You know, it taught me that the relationship, you shouldn't love someone just based on sex, because at the end of the day, if now someone's now in hospital and they can't have sex for whatever reasons, and your health, you know, what are you going to do then? You're going to turn and you're going to go elsewhere. So it's a good thing for all men to go through that, because you know, it teaches us that, you know, we have to try and, you know, if you have an argument, you do whatever.
There's more to life than sex.
Discuss it rather than, let's have makeup sex. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a very good value system, and that doesn't take it away from guys who never were in that period of celibacy. There are guys who were never in that period, and women who've never been in that period, and they still will not go outside looking for it. They'll still remain. Yeah, but it's a very good value system, and I really, really like that. I really like the whole story.
And this is going out to Jude, do you think a relationship can be sustained without intimacy?
No.
That question was for me. It wasn't for you.
I know, but I answered.
So why are you answering?
Because it's the truth. Intimacy doesn't always mean sex as well. There's different sorts of intimacy. For example, intimacy to me, sorry, Jude, I know I cut you off.
I'm joking.
But, you know, intimacy for me is when you also have vulnerability, when you can be vulnerable with the person. Not necessarily
absolutely right.
sharing bodies, but just sharing different parts of yourself. Because I think sometimes, even in established relationships, you kind of think this is how a man should be, this is how a woman should be, as opposed to just being the real you and just letting yourself be. So that, for me, intimacy is that. I mean, sex is very important, and also sexual compatibility, because some people think it's just sex or whatever. Because a lot of times as well, women are not really, and I think this goes with the Christian faith. Yes, abstain from sex. Yes, be celibate. What's about when you now get married? Nobody has told you what you're supposed to be doing. And I watched a documentary with this couple that were having issues, and they had everything else. They had companionship, they had happiness, they had fun, they had everything else men and women want in a relationship. But because we're Christians and they've been celibate, all they heard was, don't have sex before marriage, don't have sex before marriage. But nobody actually told them what they were supposed to do when they got married and how they were supposed to do it and all that kind of stuff. And it created a whole heap of problems to the point where they needed therapy, and apparently it's a thing, sexual therapists to come into their marriage and show them what to do and how to do it and this, that, the other. So I think sex education is just, it's big. It's a big deal on its own. That's a different topic. But yes, sex and intimacy, definitely very, very important in any relationship, whether you're married or not. It's very important.
Definitely.
And Jude, what's your opinion?
I think G's already said it. It's very, very important in it. But like she really said, it's all about the value base as well, where you're coming from. You know, if you've been told from day one when you was young, you could be molded in that structure and not see it as part of it. I've had stories where it's big trouble, especially people who've come up from Christian homes, and they really, and you will think it's a joke, but they're in the relationship now as adults and they don't know where to go, left, right, or center. And sometimes jokingly, I'll tell them it's because they've not explored. And exploring don't mean exploring with other people's bodies. I read a lot. I've read a lot of books. I studied about the human body, how it works. That's why you see me using terms like human animals and using our basic instincts as that of animals. So I know how the body works. When you repress things, it works detrimental to your health. If I'm a sexual being, if I'm not consummating that in my marriage, then I have to do it elsewhere. Maybe my kids are watching right now, so I don't want to say things. So, but I'm maybe wanting to explore that elsewhere, and it could be with a different body, or it could be me just doing other things to consummate it. But having said that, in the relationship, I know Tyler mentioned something earlier about communication. People throw communication around like you need to have communication. You need to have communication. But really, people don't tell you how to have this communication. The most difficult people to have communications with are your partner that you lie in bed with all the time. Because once communication starts, it's almost like a blame game, a blame party. You can have, trust me, I don't know if you've done it. I can have honest conversations with friends outside, either they're women friends or men friends, more than the partner at home. My wife, I think, is the same, because when you're talking to some people, they're listening. But when partners are talking, there's no listening. I understand what G was saying earlier about pausing the movie and discuss that. That is different. We do all of that. Discuss about politics, Trump and Boris and all of that. Have a laugh, have a fight. But when you're talking about home, communication just all of a sudden ends in, have you eaten about today? What are we cooking tomorrow? What are the kids doing tomorrow? That's not communication. Communication is talking about the different sex positions, talking about different things you do. But how many of us really do that? Our faith and our value base then creeps in somehow. And then we're inviting the third party, who's the psychotherapy. Therapist is great. But you too could easily do that if you've had this knowledge from before. That, look, sex is just a basic instinct. This is how we express ourselves. And if we don't have it, it is detrimental. If you know all of those aspects before, it will be easier instead of inviting the third party. But like I said, it depends on our value base and the stories
sometimes it takes a third party to fully understand that there's a potential issue somewhere. Because yes, we throw around communication. Sometimes it's not very easy to bring up certain things to talk about your partner. Because either there's going to be pushback from them, or you're just too hesitant to talk about it because you don't even know where to begin. So sometimes you find that there's certain things that are easier to discuss with a third party, with your partner present, than when it's just the two of you talking. Because you know that with a third party, they won't, especially if it's a professional, someone of a higher standing, your partner is not going to shut down the conversation or walk away or say, no, we're not. They have to confront it and face it. And you find that sometimes that is just to open the door to that conversation. And then in the end, they're okay together. And also a lot of relationship needs in general, they're a learned behavior. You have to have seen it somewhere before. I think something happened to me a couple of days. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I realized that I've actually never seen this growing up in any relationship I know. For me to be able to replicate, I think it was when I was gathering information from my friends. And one of my friends, she's married for a very long time. And there was a word she mentioned in the long list of things she said to me. She said devotion. The only time I've heard about devotion, the word devotion, is when you're in church and they're talking about being devoted to God, or you're hearing like really old love songs and things like that. But I've actually never understood the meaning of it. So when she broke it down for me, just apart from the fact that, yes, it was research for the show, I learned something from it because I'd never, ever thought about it before. And it made a lot of sense. So for me, a lot of relationship needs and wants, you have to learn it from someone or from somewhere to be able to replicate it. And sometimes you learn bad behavior and it goes into your relationships as well without realizing it. So communication, like Jude says, is literally talking about things as basic as sex positions. So I agree with that point.
Okay, we're going to continue the conversation, but I just wanted to acknowledge our listeners. So I do believe right now we've got about 18 people listening in live. If we can just say hello to them. Hello to you all.
Hello.
And if you've got any questions for us, or if you want to join in the conversation, as I said to you earlier, just type it into the comments. So I'm just going to refer this question to Tyler. Tyler, what do you think, or as a man, what do you think a man's needs and wants are as a man? So just generalize it.
Come on.
Okay.
Let's go. We are ready.
So, a man, I'm not going to talk for myself. What I want and what I've wanted, I've been with my, just to give you some background, so I'm not talking like anybody. I've been married for 3.5 years. I've been with my missus over 7 years. So, I've been learning, and she's a few years older than me as well. So, women are mature anyway. So I've been learning. What I've found that I want, that my main needs are, this is not in order, by the way, but respect is definitely up there. Yeah. Because if I feel like that my wife is not respecting me, whether we're in public or whether we're at home, whatever it is, that's like, it's like crushing my manhood. I don't know how to describe it. So respect is a massive thing. Sex is up there. And like we've spoken about, it's not always the physical act of sex, but it's, I'll give you an example. It's initiating sex, for example, because sometimes I'd feel like the man is always the one that initiates the sex or whatever. But sometimes we too want you to put it on us. You know what I mean?
Take it for the G's. Yeah, exactly, man.
Underwear, pull me up.
How you doing?
Now you're coming back to the hunting business, isn't it?
Listen, it's
gosh, dude,
the wooing, sorry.
Thank you.
So I think that's a part of it. Communication, obviously, but that's part. Honesty, because you know the ones when you ask them, are you okay? And they say yes, but you know they're not really okay. So that honesty, you know, tell me what's going on. And someone that can cook good food and look after their husband. Doesn't mean that they only cook. They're the only cook. I cook
They
too.
can make a banging piece of toast.
You know, so yeah, and to be like maternal, I've got a whole list of things, you know. So
Okay.
they're like my top things, I'd say.
Okay, Jude, what do you think are the wants and needs, apart from the hunting, if we could just keep that one side, the wants and the needs of a man, what do you think they are? And generalize it. Think about your friends and people around you.
I think Tyler is touched on all of them. I think, yeah, from talking to people as well as me, respect comes at the top of it, but respect is broad. So I don't know what a lot of them mean by that, whether they want the woman to wake up in the morning and say, "Good morning, sir."
No, not that anyway.
I'm coming.
I'll wait my turn.
But some people, when they talk about it, people I've listened to, it borders in that insanity, and I start to say, But I guess what Tyler is saying is valid. Respect. You don't want. You can be disrespected in so many ways. It's not about challenging you out in public or at home, but just some little things that gets done or don't get done. It can be. But I think sex is there, and it's in the simplest way that Tyler has explained it. Because again, society from day one is already formed us in the position that we have to do it. We have to woo the woman, not hunting. Woo the woman, you know, cajole and caress and do all of that. But the men actually need that. Society has made men who if woman does that, they start calling the woman names, so you can understand the issue for the woman. But I think men need tender, loving care. TLC, big time. Otherwise,
Tyler,
you want to be going
down.
Yeah, they need that tender loving care. Food aspect is true. I remember my wife used to make some sort of rice, and I will eat that rice. But I'm the one who stays in the kitchen more, so food is kind of falling down on the pecking order for me, because I like cooking. I can even bully you out of my kitchen. I like to cook. I like to experiment with food. Yeah, I like to experiment with food a lot. Yeah. So we're talking about respect in the sense that Tyler was putting it. I think it's all about we're looking for orderliness, because there's need for orderliness. Two captains can actually not row a boat, as they say. Too many cooks spoils the broth. That's fact. So who is the boss? If the wife wants to take the position of the boss, I, Jude, will gladly bow, and there will be order and respect. You know what I mean? We cannot be bosses, two of us. And that's not saying I must be the man of the house or she be. No, we have to have one boss.
It's having an understanding between the two of you.
Yes, we have to have
certain aspects in order to build.
Yes,
absolutely.
Exactly. So that's where the respect comes. You have to have one boss. This is our home. We're in a transactional relationship. We're in a partnership. So when you're in a partnership, you always have the first executive, who is the chief executive officer. Then you have the others. So the wife can be the chief executive officer, and I'd gladly take number 2 if she wants to do that. Then exactly. So respect is high there.
Yeah. That's
and that tender
loving care. My husband told me? My husband told me when we have another child, he's going to take the maternity leave and I go back to work. He said,
"Why not?
You stay at home." He goes, "You lead the ship and do whatever you've got to do. I'll stay at home and do all of that."
Why not?
Tyler, we have a question for you from one of our audience. This is from Real Niger Chick. She would like to know, what's it like being married to someone that's older than you? What's it like being married to an older woman?
Okay, so when I say older woman, it's not like she's like 50 and I'm 30. So let me just put it.
I'm gonna sugar mommy.
So basically, she's like 3.5 years older than me. But when we met, like I was 25, she was 29. You know, so that is still kind of, you know, some sort of difference. So what it did for me is it meant that I couldn't come with any silly boy young stuff anymore. I couldn't do that.
You had to come correct.
I had to come correct. She was serious and she knew what she wanted. Not that she put pressure on me, but she knew what she wanted. And she's smart, she's intelligent, she's so I couldn't, anytime, you know, we may have an argument or something like that, she come back with them educational responses. So I can't now be wilding out. That sometimes is frustrating as well. But it just made me check myself at every point, you know? It made me check myself. The respect level had to be on another level, you know, which when I be acting silly and getting angry, I always come back and be like, you know what, you were right. It taught me to apologize. It taught me to be able to just, you know, be a bit more open with myself and be like, you know what, yeah, you want the best from us. She's never doing anything intentionally to like bring this relationship down. She's always trying to raise it up.
Yeah.
So it made me have to do the same as well, you know. And yeah, it's just the whole. It's mainly a communication thing. It kind of taught me how to be with a woman and how to respect a woman. And yeah, you know, I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong. There's still things that she still tells me about myself. But
that's right, as she should. Can I go down my list now? So
she's dying to say our list.
No. Do you know the thing is, all the time I was doing the research for this show, I didn't think about what I think my needs are. But I'm just going to read what I've got. So from the women I asked, I'm just going to quick fire tell you what they said. This is what they want in a man, or what they need in a man. Friend, someone that's their friend, a protector, their lover or sex, you know, cash machine, and she clarified this. Cash machine, boundaries, acceptance of differences, respect for the man, acts of service for the women, and the men have to that's the love language the women want. Peace, companionship, happiness, financial security, stability, faithfulness, devotion, which apparently is actually commitment as well. Transparency, communication, trust, support, empathy, loyalty, disagreements, praise, which I thought was also very, very important, to create like positive energy, mutual respect, partnership, I think I mentioned that already, and affirmation. For men, they wanted respect from the woman. And I asked one of my friends to clarify this, and what he said was, in terms of, yes, there's not, you can't have two captains of the ship, as Tyler said, but if the woman's going to make a decision about something, let me, the man, know what you're doing. That's how he explained the respect thing. Like, when it's you doing something, let me know, and vice versa. The other things the men said was they feel like the women need a lot of reassurance, which I completely agree with. Conflict. One guy said there has to be a conflict resolution strategy, so that it's not like, let's say the guy goes ahead and does something that maybe the woman was against, and then when this thing doesn't work, the woman just like, hey, I told you so. You shouldn't have done that. No, don't do that. Like that kills that kills part of the relationship. Understanding, listening to the man, because I think the way this guy was saying, it was like, sometimes the men just need for you to listen to them, not necessarily for you to give advice or say anything. Just listen sometimes, and wait for them to ask for your advice sometimes before you actually say, you know. And I'm guilty of that. The minute my husband says something about something, sometimes he has not even finished talking, I start giving my 2 cents, and it's taken years and years, and we're still working on, for me to pipe down, let him finish, wait for him to actually ask for your opinion before you say something.
Nice. I like that.
Patience, sex, companionship, and then I really like this one, doing things together, doing physical activities together, not just sex. Go and do something together, just the two of you. Like, remember who you are as friends. Go and not just go for a walk. Obviously, this is all, I don't remember what humans did before pandemic, but you know what I mean? Like, go rock climbing and do this. And I used to try and I used to say to my husband, we have to have date night. Literally the week before pandemic, I secured a nanny that could come to the house to watch our son, because I'm like, right, every month we are going out and we're going to do something. We're not going to stay in a restaurant and eat food you don't like, because I like all the food, but we're going to go and do something fun, like just something, you know, during the day, you know, kind of thing. And also, women need love, and men feel like they do have to make sacrifices in terms of just securing the relationship. And one of my friends said, just make sure your wife is happy. If that is babysitting, doing the dishes, whatever it is, just keep her happy.
Bro.
And then again, the intimacy, and then the mutual decision making thing, like, come together. And like Jude said, sometimes you're the CEO, sometimes he's the CEO, and just, you know, juggle it that way.
Can I, you know, everything you said is absolutely fantastic, great, and thank you for all the people that have given you them nuggets.
Yes, thanks to all my contributors. Thank you.
One thing you said that I want to pick up on is when you said about the financial, did you call it financial stability?
That leads to my next question.
Yeah.
Can I
talk on that quickly?
Yes.
women, this is to the women, right? And it's to the men as well, but women. If you meet a man and he's not financially stable when you meet him, don't disregard him.
Exactly.
If you meet him, he's not really financially stable, but he's splashing money, buying Gucci belt and all that, and he can't afford it, that's something else. But if he's not financially stable, but he's going places, the reason why I'm saying that is because when my wife met me, I was good with money, but I didn't have a lot of money. My money came when we got together and we got married and things started growing because we were a team and we put in our money together and, you know, opportunities and So that's all I'm going to say is don't disregard them if they don't have.
I completely agree with you. My man had to have ambition for me he had to have ambition and he had to have integrity.
Yes.
Yeah.
He, like, that for me was very, very important. There was a lot of things I was looking for that I think at the time I didn't realize I was looking for, but I needed someone that could keep to his word. I needed someone that I could have a conversation with about anything. I needed someone I could trust. And definitely the financial security for me, the way it translated was ambition. I didn't want someone that's just going to sit down and be happy to go collect what they call them at the benefit office thing, benefits. You know, I needed someone that actually wanted to do something. And I, for one, as a wife, was definitely pushing. Okay, so what's your plans? What do you want to do? This, that, the other. Because, you know, sometimes you have to gently, not push, but, you know, nudge a little bit.
I'm going to put my views on this. When I met my husband, financially, I wasn't in a good place. And when we got on board together, we started supporting each other where we moved in together. We moved in together before we were married. We got married, and I remember my priest, I'm a Catholic, I remember my priest saying, what was it? He said, you have sinned. He had a big argument with my husband because he
sinned according to the glory of God.
But it was they had a huge hoo-ha when we went to church. But we've supported each other to where we are now. And research has shown that a man's success depends on the woman he marries and vice versa. So if you that is Barack and Michelle, and then when we look at even Beyonce and Jay-Z, where they all started off somewhere together.
I mean, who was Jay-Z before Beyonce? Who was he anyway?
They both would have done well by themselves. Jay-Z was doing well by himself. Beyonce was doing well by themselves, but together they became a power couple. They worked hard together.
That's a Neo song right there, you know. That's a Neo song.
You know what it is though, D? Yeah, I think a lot of men have this pressure on them. I think some men put the pressure on themselves. So I know friends pressure on themselves. They're like, no, I need to have my yard first. I need to have my car first. Whereas other pressures come from parents or society or whatever it is. But I'm telling you right now, men, marry that woman, because when you marry her and you put things together, double, things speed up. Like I wouldn't have had my own car, my own house, mortgage, my daughter. I wouldn't have had all that if I didn't marry the right woman. So
same here. My husband helped me write my dissertations, would stay up till 4 a.m. writing for me to become a teacher. He practically
that's plagiarism. I'm gonna turn it in.
I wrote it, he went over it.
Okay. Correction.
Edit what you've written. You have to support each other. You have to support each other. One of our listeners has written, they put quantum energy is the name of the listener, has put, when you meet someone, if a woman, people will say, what is she like? If it's a man, they ask, what does he do? Why is it? So if it's a woman, we're asking, oh, what's she like? But if it's a man, the first question is, which is true. It's true. The first question would be, what does he do? It's true. So if you were with one of your girlfriends, the first question you'd say to her is, what does he do? And if it's with one of your boyfriends, as in male friends, the first question you ask is, what's she like?
But that goes exactly back to judging society on terms of like.
No, Tyler, it's not that. It's everything. Tyler, it's not that. It's everything that you've said, and it's everything that G read out from her list. What does she look like? I said it before. When I go out, I go for the looks first of all. You see a beautiful girl, because no, don't laugh. This is what we do. You start objectifying. Forgive that, but it's what society, it's what we are. You say, wow, that's a beautiful lady. She's wearing, look, there's this thing going on TikTok now, they boss it.
They drop down low. They start
one thing I've noticed about that boss it, And I said this about everybody. When people say there are ugly women, I said no woman is ugly. Let that woman come out, man. You'll be floored off your feet. Look,
They're just
that
not
boss,
wearing enough makeup.
that boss it. I just been watching a couple of them, and there was one particular one. She was just wearing pajamas, and she didn't look like she had anything. The moment she went bust it, my God, I was like, I almost the tea I was drinking, I almost spilled it on me. I was like, whoa, you were packing all of this? Now you get my let me run, let me run, let me run. It's true. If she was at a place where she was wearing that PJ in Asda's, I won't see all of that glory. But now she's wearing a Coke bottle dress. And I'm saying that. That's why your guys or the women will say, what does she look like? Because it's based on the looks. But for the man, it's what you read out from your list. You said cash machine. You said financial security. That's where the story comes in. Because the man will be giving that story. I will be telling the woman from the first day, and she will be asking me, what do you do? Oh yeah, I'm a professional. I work with a local authority.
Yeah, because that's because women are not going out there for, like you said at the beginning, for someone that they're going to put in their bed at the end of the night.
No,
They've gone out to
listen.
look for something else.
Exactly. So that's why that question comes. So that question is not wrong for them to ask, because women have been geared to think along the security, financial security. Look at what is happening in Nigeria, the so-called Stingy Men Association. I was sharing with somebody recently. I said that thing, there are undertones to it. I need to do a research on that. What people see is just thinking people are just making fun about stingy men doing card, saying we won't buy anything for the guests, we won't order an Uber. But what it is, the undertone is the underlying factors. The guys now are becoming wiser because the girls are no longer opening their legs. The guys are saying, come on, man, I'm not opening my legs for you. And the guys are saying,
Jude. I had a conversation with my sister just the other day, and my sister made a comment where she said, when you go to Nigeria, you notice that a lot of these girls are not quick to run after men. They want men that are set. So at the same time, men are not, it's not as easy as it used to be. Women are not just opening up themselves to men. They want a man that's set. So if the man's not set, and then he's got no chance. But at the same time, if he is set, why would you want a woman that just wants you if you're ready to go? You want a woman that's ready to build with you. So relationships are not working the way they used to.
So exactly. If I was with my guys and I said, look, I just scored a woman yesterday, I'd be like, boy, I actually look like she fine, she be this, she be that. With the women, it will be, what does he do? He's a lawyer, he's a city banker.
Yeah, but you're not, because you're not
asking whether he's got six-pack, because six-pack don't bring money.
No, because also if a man has a six-pack, when you're out in the club, you're not going to see that, are you? Unless the guy's wearing a wife beater. Because at the end of the day, the way women dress nowadays, it's like bandage
a man's
dress.
Wearing a what?
A wife beater, a vest.
I don't know what.
Sorry, a vest, singlet. You're not going to see it unless they wear a crop top. I don't know what bars you go to, but they wear tight stuff.
Exactly.
So it will show off their boobs. If men started wearing, what they call chaps, so we can see the size of their package.
Or the mankini. Wear the mankini.
Maybe when they ask us how they look like, we can say he's packing or he's not packing.
Exactly.
You know what I mentioned?
It's about what you see.
You know, when I mentioned the judging thing, what I meant by that, is I agree with what you're saying, Jude. But what I also think as well is there's certain stereotypical jobs that men can do that as soon as you mention that to a woman, it sends. The man says he's a footballer or an athlete or something, and she tells her, immediately they're judging. But this could be the best guy out there. But yet, just because of the profession, they're judging. So if a man turns around and says he's a dustbin man, the woman's gonna be thinking, I don't want to be with him because my friends are gonna see my husband coming home in
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's all to do with judgment as well, and like the perception of what others are gonna see them. No one wants to marry a waste man.
Well, it depends. There's waste man and there's disposal man. So there's a difference.
They are the same idea.
Doesn't tend to have a job.
They are the same.
I recently learned what waste man means, and I'm a useless man that doesn't have a job, doesn't have a house or anything.
So, I'm going to ask you the question in this phrase. So, what can a man without money make a woman happy in a relationship? Yes. And that's to me.
Oh boy.
To you.
So you.
Oh right, sorry. What was the question again? Sorry.
Can a man without money make a woman happy in a relationship?
Yes, he can.
Really?
And when I married my man, he ain't got no money. But you know, look at me, I'm living large. Milkshake,
No,
you
no,
know.
no,
How
that's
did
not the
you
No, no,
question.
no.
woo? So
So
how did the wooing
I
process
think
happen?
there's a lot more to a person
Relationship.
than just a person than money.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very rich household when I was growing up in Nigeria. Very rich. To the point where I won't say bullied for it, but he was always pointed at me. The car that picked me up from school literally said World Bank on it. So
Oh boy.
but I knew how my life was at home. I knew what I was going through at home. So from a very young age, I knew money could not buy you happiness. I knew that from a very, very young age.
Oh,
So
okay.
for me, when it came to look for a life partner, money was not number one on my list. For me, it was, does he have the ambition to make
The
this money?
drive.
Because
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
I'm a ride or die, I'll sleep in this box with you. I can do one night, but after that, we need to find a hotel. So you need to bring this money at some point. And I don't have time for lazy people in general. You have to
Yeah,
be doing something, at least be
yeah,
trying. So there's a lot more, like all the other things I read out on the list, you can bring to the relationship. If a lot of women, most of the time, I have people say to me, I just want my man to just listen to me. Ask me how I am and how my day was, and genuinely want to hear what I have to say. That's
yeah.
enough. Give me
That's
your
enough.
time. Give me your attention. No, you come
Mm,
home. Hey, how was work? You put the TV on. You're watching football. Just give me attention. Ask me how my day was. Make me
mm.
dinner, even if it's something I hate. The
Small things, isn't
fact
it?
that you've made it, and something someone said to me last week was, you know, when you come home from work or whatever, obviously this is before pandemic era, and all the jobs are done. I've actually seen like a skit on Instagram, like all the jobs are done. I
The
have
jobs
not
are
asked
done,
this man to do anything, and
and
he's
he's
done
done it.
everything already.
Yeah,
Everything that he's doing, he's done.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, come. I've opened my leg, just come.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's
it's
true. That's true.
little
That's true.
things
That's
like
true.
that.
That's
It's
true. That's
not
true. That's true. That's
just
true.
the money thing.
I
You know, just don't
listen.
don't wait for me to tell you what to do. Just do what you're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
my husband, I'm proud to say, does that regularly. There are
And it's
times
seeing
when
it,
we have
not
a
waiting to be
system where
told,
if
seeing
I'm the
when
one
it
that
needs to
did
be
the
done.
childcare in the
Yeah, women
morning
love
to
that, man.
get
The
the
simple
baby
things,
ready,
man.
I'll do the evening, we'll
Clean
swap
the kitchen and
around.
all that. Clean the kitchen up. Do the dishes.
Yeah,
Do the room
just
when I come
simple
home.
things, just simple things. Just
On.
do
You
it
see,
before I ask you.
On.
Jay,
Just do
Jay,
it.
you said these are simple things. They're not
Just do
simple.
it.
I've been telling you, it's back to basics. It's your value system. If you've never have order in your life, you won't know these things. You just said you came from rich home. I know people who come from rich homes to who had people they used to call servants or house help or maids or whatever they call them. They don't have all of
Mm.
that discipline and that value. And as adults, they've brought that into their homes. Trust me. That's why
Yeah,
every home
yeah,
needs some kind of orderliness. And
yeah.
sometimes it's not just easy to say, oh, the man is a slob or the woman is a slob. They don't know how to do these things. But over time, it can be a big burden. It can be a big wahala at home. But
Yeah.
I think it goes back again asking like, okay, what's happening here? Get to know this person. Probably you actually didn't know who this person was. You just jumped into the marriage. You did, or one of us was hiding at this story about whatever was doing. Because like I said, we always tell stories. Humans like to hear stories, so we tell stories. Some like to hear what they want to hear. Some like to hear the truth. So it's about the value system. If they've never done these things before, like house chores, they will never be able to do it. Like I always tell people, my mother, she brought us up in the way that as you grew older, you did the house chores. It was never
Oh,
for women.
don't get it twisted.
So
All the chores
yeah,
the servants did, I did too. I had to learn
as
every
you
single
you know
one
you're
of
a
them.
different person. That's what I'm saying. I say you're different. But in some places they didn't have that. I've seen
Yeah.
homes where not even because they had money, I've seen broke families still have housemaid and they will whip them to do every of this housework, and their children just
Mm.
lazy about. And they've grown like that. I go into my friends' homes. I don't want to mention the name in this London. And with the moment I step my foot through their door, I'm tidying up. I go into
Ah,
Primark. I'm
why?
tidying up in Primark. That's what I do. I pick clothes from. I can't see it. I can see the sink that is filled up with dishes. It just sends
Oh.
me into a state. So this is how I was brought up. It's my value. But I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
as well that the next person might not have been brought up
Mm.
in that way. So that's where the whole
Mm.
compromise comes. But when it gets too much, trust me, it's big wahala in marriages.
Okay.
It's big
Yeah.
I
trouble.
went to an all girls school. Going to an all girls school, we were brought up in regards to being able to do things, but also to be able to do things by yourself, being able to provide for yourself and work hard for
Mhm.
whatever you wanted to achieve. But it was also we were also
Mm.
sort of taught from values from home as well as in school, just to understand that in life you will find a companion, somebody that will mold with you and grow with you. So as much as I'm very girl power and pro woman, I know at the same time that I'm a woman and made to feel like a woman because I have a man by my side as well. And we work together to build. So in summary, a strong relationship will have aspects of the following: love, mutual respect, communication, tolerance, and support. It is a journey in life between two people where they build to have a better understanding of each other for a greater future. Many thanks for tuning in. Hit that button and subscribe.
Oh, Tyler has something to say.
But Tyler, quick, answer it. And I've said my bit so we can cut right after. Tyler, off you go.
No, I'm seeing Quantum in the comments here. I don't know who Quantum is, but Quantum Vortex Energy. I can't.
I have a 9-figure salary, no debt, good health, no kids, but not married. What's missing in my life? Quickly, Tyler.
Quantum, I'm guessing you're a man. I can see some of the comments that are coming up. And if you got 9 figures, you're doing well, clearly. But who are you sharing it with? You ain't got no debt. You got good health, no kids. What legacy are you going to leave? Like when you're gone, where's your children? Where's what? Who are you giving it to? Bro? Who are you sharing?
If you're not married and you're a male, I have plenty of females who are in the same bracket, earning the same amount, not married, no children.
I don't know about the earning, but I have plenty of single friends. Quantum, hit me up.
I need to hear more from you, because right now I'm like, what do you do in life in terms of work, but who are you?
Quantum, do people scream when they see your face?
Life with? Who are you enjoying life with?
Your face, a human face.
And Quantum might be in a very busy profession, like he's a city banker or an engineer offshore. They're very busy and they might not have time to socialize. This is not a dating app, though. This is not a dating app.
It could be. Listen, if we get a marriage out of this, I'll be very happy.
Life is not all about work.
You make time. You have to find time. You find time. If you want a woman, go and find time.
An amazing conversation today. I've had a brilliant time. Okay, so this is us, and we have arrived.
Bye.
Carry this conversation on, guys. Why are we cutting off? It could have gone on longer than this, you know.